What's up, guys? I'm back. This is another racing video, F122. It's been a long time since I've posted. I think it's been over a month just looking back at my videos, and there are a few reasons for that. So first of all, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed in my free time. I haven't been playing as much F122, and there are reasons for that as well. But also, in addition to just playing a different game sometimes, I moved. Um, I was out of town for a while. Just had a lot going on, personal life wise. All good things, no worries, and nothing bad. But I have been focused on other stuff, and on top of that, when I do want to play, I have been encountering this problem in F1 ever since the Sport Liveries update, where I can't connect to the online services. So what that means is I'll load into the game and it just says connecting to online services infinitely, and I can't get into the game. That is really unfortunate, obviously, because that prevents me from doing anything that's online. I missed the league race because of this. I can't do any weekly events. I can't do anything online. The only way that I can play, I can't do time trials. The only way that I can play is I have to disconnect my PS5 from the internet, load into the game, and it lets me do that, but then I'm not connected to anything, obviously. And you have those screens that are like retry connection or all those sorts of things. Glancing blow to the wall. I probably should not have done that. Probably would have had a much better time if I hadn't done that, but nothing I can do about it now. But I can access my team when I'm unable to connect to the online services. So I could still do this, what I'm doing in this video, and it's not as good. I mean, I'm not getting podium pass points. Can't race online. Like I said, I missed the league race, so it's not ideal, but if I really just want the racing fix, I can just connect offline, and it takes you back to the olden days when games weren't even connected to the internet. But what you're seeing here is my team gameplay, Jeddah, first race of the season. I ended up doing a 10-race season. Just because I'm doing 100% races, and I find that when I try to do a full season, I just end up not doing all 23 races. So what I'm hoping is that doing 10 races and sort of focusing on the tracks that I really enjoy will sort of help me stay invigorated and stay interested in doing this. That's the hope. So that's kind of my goal, and that's what I'm going for. And through one race, I will say that I'm enjoying it. And I will let you watch the race yourselves and sort of see everything that happens. But I will just go ahead and tell you this is an eventful race. There's a lot that happens. You can see right off the bat, I'm going for a one-stopper, and that to me is a little bit questionable. It said that it was not a problem. The game tells me it's not a problem, but two-stop is a suggested strategy, and the only way that I got to the one-stop was by telling it to go with the personalized strategy. So we will see if that pays off. We'll see if I can make that work. And we'll see if I can beat my teammate as well, Dan Ticktum. And that was one of the things. So I chose the driver who had, I want to say who had the best rating that was a free agent. And Ticktum was the one who won the competition. So he's my teammate. And we hope that we collectively can do well and maybe get some points. I started off as a midfield team, so I didn't start off as a front runner like I did in some of my previous teams. I started off as the midfield team, so we'll see how that goes. I'm the 7th best car going into this race. Just remember that, 7th best. So I should probably expect P13, P14, something like that. You see me get off the line, not very fast at all. Well, that was not a good start, and that has plagued me in this game, but especially against the AI. The AI they get rocket ship starts. You, as the player, can't get as good of a start. Well, I can't. Maybe I'm just bad at starting, but I certainly can't. Made a nice little move there on Tsunoda. I was really happy with that, and I'm also really happy that he didn't turn into me, because he could have turned into me, and that would have been maybe not a race ruiner, but I probably would have at least broken a front wing, so it's probably for the best that he managed to stay away from me for both of our races, to be honest. And we can only hope that AI will continue to stay out of my way throughout the rest of the race. You see me go down the inside there against Latifi, and I've got the red arrow to my right. Really just kind of stuck the car into a gap there, and luckily it worked out. I probably wasn't the best idea, but what can I say? I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't played the game in a while, and it maybe shows a little bit here is with some of the moves that I'm making. And I really truly feel that when you don't play the game for a while, you can get a little rusty. And this is the first time that I've raced in 3 weeks maybe. So the 9th, I missed the league race on the 9th, and it's the 21st right now. So that was 12 days ago. I've loaded up the game and tried to get into the game, into the online services since then, but I haven't actually done any racing. So I think did I just get hit in the back? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm imagining that. But it's been at least 12 days since I've raced, and it was probably, actually, you know what? It was even longer before that because I was out of town for about a week and a half. So 2 weeks, actually. 2 weeks. So it's been probably 25, 26 days since I've raced going into this race. And also, I'd been drinking. I'd had copious amounts of wine when I recorded this footage, so maybe forgive some of the things that I do on the track that you are still to see, just given that knowledge. So right there, I get hit in the back, and I get damage, and that's just not cool. And I don't know if you can hear it. I think that my engineer tells me that I have underbody damage at this point. So we're 3 laps into the race. I've already managed to collect damage, and this is simulation damage, by the way. We're on sim damage, so it's very easy to pick up damage. And frankly, I don't really feel like that was my fault, to be honest. I felt like that was the fault of the opponents, and I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, so it's kind of unfortunate. You see me there kind of overshoot that a little bit and get myself in this position where Vettel's sort of all over my gearbox, but luckily I'm able to keep the place from him despite my outbraking myself. And then you see me try to take the inside line there against Guan Yu Zhou, but just couldn't get it done, and I had to back out. It was a smart play, but I've pretty quickly caught up to him again just because I do think that I have more pace than these guys, than some of these guys at the back of the pack. Unfortunately, I've got damage to the car, so we'll see if that sticks. But I get myself into an almost a little sticky situation here, but I just gutted to the outside, and I passed 2 cars in one go, which is, I think, pretty impressive. I thought that was pretty impressive. I was happy with that. I was good with that. It was maybe a bit of an ill-advised move, but it worked out, so I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable with it, knowing that the result was positive. I don't know that I would want to do it every time because I was somewhat at the mercy of the guys on the inside, because they could have easily not given me the room and put me into the wall on the outside. And especially with simulation damage, that could be a race ruiner or a race ender if it takes you out of the race. So far, I would say we did not have a good start, but I've made up quite a few places on track, and for that, I'm pretty happy. You see me there on the outside trying to get past Magnussen, and I do get past him, but also, who gets the DRS? I can't remember. But yeah, okay, yeah, so I'm getting quite a gap on these guys. It looks like Magnussen might have pitted, actually. I'm not positive about that. Fast forward to lap 8. I am P14. I'm making some decent progress up the field, as I mentioned, and Tictum is right in front of me, my teammate, and I'd like to get past him. You always want to beat your teammate, of course. I make an interesting move on him, and he gave me the room, luckily, but you may sense a recurring theme here. I'm kind of bullying the AI, or I have been bullying the AI up to this point in the race. No promises if that continues or stops, but I do feel a bit bad about it because they obviously can't stick up for themselves. And, of course, that doesn't translate over well to league racing against real people. You have to race real people a little bit differently and give them more respect on track, there's no question. But I've been known to bully the AI from time to time, and I don't know that I feel that bad about it. Maybe a little bad about it. Lewis Hamilton is out of the session, 10 laps into the race, some sort of mechanical failure. It's actually kind of funny because in the real F122 season, that did not happen until the last race when Hamilton retired at the very end. So they're getting off to a bad start here in game, and I have a Mercedes engine as well, so let's hope that that doesn't carry over to me. You see me get into a little spat there. I got some side pod damage, and that again was just a situation where I probably should not have gone for that. That was a gap that I probably should not have chased, but I did it, and and I paid for it with side pod damage. And there's a very good chance that that's going to hinder me throughout the rest of the race. In fact, I can say I think that that does hinder me throughout the rest of the race. I at times in this race found myself suffering from a lack of pace. And I don't know if it was a true lack of pace or if it was a damaged lack of pace, but regardless, I did struggle from time to time. And I am still trying to make a one-stop work, so I need every single second that I can get to try to maximize any lead that I can have over some of these guys. You see me with my first pit stop there, my first and only pit stop, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. And I come out of the pits, it looks like I'm going to be P11, but Magnussen gets past me, and keep in mind as well, my mediums are going to be really cold, so I didn't have much hope there. But you see me get a chance on lap 15 here to get past Magnussen. I overcooked it a little bit, but managed to stay in front of him, and I hope that we're off to the races at this point, and maybe see if I can take some time out of Pierre Gasly in front of me, who's 8.5 seconds ahead. I don't know that I can because I think he's in a much better car than I am, much faster car than I am. But 10 laps later, I still am not within striking distance of Gasly. I've actually lost time. But it seems like I'm gaining some time to these guys behind me. And as some of these guys in front of me pit, because they're on the two-stop strategy, it looks like I'm making up a little bit of time. And I hope that I can continue that and move up the field. But unfortunately, I'm just not going to be able to get past some of these guys. Ricardo, for example, took his pit stop and is still 7 seconds ahead of me. And that I think that was probably just a function of him starting ahead of me and me having a bad start, not really making up a lot of time through the field. But it's basically a guarantee that he's going to beat me at this point unless something crazy happens. You see Ocon get past me very easily, and I'm starting to sense a bit of a trend here. Is the Alpine a better car than mine? Almost certainly, yes, it is. It's higher on the performance index. But also, he's got the tire delta on me, and I have a bit of damage on the car as well. So I really don't have a lot going in my favor. And for that reason, I'm not very confident that I can stay in front of a lot of these guys. For example, Gasly, as I mentioned, I was trying to catch, has now pitted and passes me with absolute ease, just blows past me. And that to me says that the car is not good enough. We're going to have to continue to work. And I think we will have a better car for the next race. Got some upgrades on after this race that should be in position for the next race. Well, will be in position for the next race. And we have a few other changes as well that should be on the car and will hopefully help me catch up much faster. But you see us with a safety car here, and this put me in an interesting position, okay, because I had the choice to maybe try to pit for new tires, but I really didn't have much of a gap to do it. And I figured, okay, well, I know these tires can make it to the end. I might as well just stick on these tires and hope that that I can get something done. But honestly, I think that this is only going to hurt me because pretty much everyone else has a better tire strategy than I do, or has the tire delta on me, I should say, just given the fact that I'm doing a one stop and I don't think anybody else is. I think some of these other cats are doing two stops. I think they're all doing two stops at least, if not three. So I'm just in not that great of a position. But on the restart, you may have seen at the beginning of the straight, I had a brain malfunction and I was in 7th gear and couldn't figure out why my car wasn't moving and had to take it down to 2nd gear to even get a chance to move. But you're also seeing these cars are all lapped cars and they're all over the racing line. I guess you just don't get to pass in the game. You don't get to unlap yourself. And I wish that they would get to unlap themselves because, frankly, they were a nuisance to me. And you saw me wheel bang with one of those guys. I don't know which one it was, but I ran into the side of him, and I was lucky not to get any more damage than I've already accrued throughout the race. But I don't know if that's maybe a broadcast safety car bug or if that's a situation where the game just doesn't let you unlap yourself. I don't know what the situation is, but frankly, it probably cost me a little bit of time there. And I don't know that it would have really made a difference if they had unlapped themselves. It's not like I would have been able to catch Norris and Gasly up there. But maybe I would have had a better chance. I don't know. But you see Mick Schumacher get past me. And very soon, I think it's the next lap, you see me get the opportunity to pass him. And I make it, well, I shoot for it down the inside there. Barely managed to keep it. Mick actually almost got back past me again. But I'm able to stay in front of him. And you see him lose a lot of time to me pretty much immediately. So I think it's fair to say that worked out. But you do see him try to get past me here. I go very deep. He goes with the switchback, and frankly, at that point, he's off to the races. I could be wrong, but I don't think I get the opportunity to catch him again. I don't think I'm close enough, but that's just the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but that's how it happens. And I'm going to try to stick with him as best I can, but I don't have a whole lot of faith that I will be able to catch him. And fast forward here to lap 47 going into lap 48. I'm still over a second behind Schumacher, and you see Tictum and Guan Yu Zhou are behind me, catching up very quickly. And Tictum tries to go down the inside here, and I really don't want to lose to my teammate. I will be quite honest with you. So I send it a little bit. Just send it down the inside. I think I locked up a bit there, and I managed to keep Tictum behind me, but Sainz just breezes through. And I didn't even know Sainz was close, but he might have just pitted for softs, actually, but he came out of there and is just off to the races. And I ended up getting rear-ended there. I don't know if you saw it. Rear-ended at one of those turns by either Guan Yu Zhou or my teammate Dan Tictum, but I think it was my teammate Dan Tictum because he pitted at the end of that lap, which makes me think that he ran into the back of me and had to pit. So it's a little bit of karma maybe, and I don't feel that bad about it. But I at least will beat my teammate. I'm guaranteed to do that, and I'm hoping that I can catch up with Guan Yu Zhou and maybe beat him because I'd really like to maximize my places here. And it looks like Schumacher pits as well. I don't know if that was a damage thing or what, but I do get in front of Guan Yu Zhou there, and we made contact. And frankly, I think at this point in the race, I was a bit upset with the way it had all gone, and I was just sending it a little bit. And I would have accrued penalties for those in a real league, but in the game against the AI, it wasn't a problem. You can bully them as much as you want, and I took full advantage of that, frankly. So Guan Yu Zhou is not able to catch up with me there, so we're going to end this race at P11, which is not great. I was really hoping for points, but I do think it was positive momentum because we started 13th. We dropped back to like 18th before that, and we're able to make up quite a few places. So I'm really happy with the way this race went for the most part. I just think maybe it would have been better to avoid the damage and see if maybe we could have done something else to try to put ourselves in a good position. Moving forward, I will try to focus on not running into other cars, not running into my teammate. And the goal, I think, here will be to maximize the points that we get on the season, and maybe see if we can get a nice constructor result and maybe get some money.